The body found in singer David's Tesla has been identified as a missing teen girl.
A teenage girl, missing since last year, has been found dead.
It was the same smell these residents and their dogs have been smelling for more than a week now.
Here, really bizarre story in Southern California.
When workers at a Los Angeles impound lot detected a putrid stench emanating from a black Tesla on September 8, 2025, they uncovered one of the music industry's most sinister secrets. The decomposed, dismembered remains of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez had been rotting in that trunk since April 2024.
But this one, a sleek black Tesla sedan, was hauled away and taken to Hollywood Tow.
We now know the body found inside the front trunk of a Tesla, and not just any car, but one registered to an up-and-coming celebrity.
This Tesla was registered to David Anthony Burke, the rising star known to millions as D4VD, whose song Romantic Homicide had consumed TikTok and catapulted him to fame. But the person who reported this Tesla missing was the same person who knew exactly where Celeste's body was decomposing.
A body was found inside a car at a Hollywood tow lot today. Eyewitness News has learned the 2023 Tesla is registered in Hempstead, Texas to multi-platinum artist and musician David Anthony Burke, known professionally as David.
More heartbreak tonight, this time in Lake Elsinore, where a crowd gathered to remember the 15-year-old girl whose remains were recently found in the trunk of a car.
Because buried in D4VD's own Discord messages was a confession that not only revealed his predatory relationship with this child, but exposed how he had been flaunting her death to his online followers for months. And when investigators decoded these messages, they realized they weren't just looking at murder, but at a calculated cover-up that had been hiding in plain sight. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was innocent, trusting, vulnerable. She should have been celebrating her 16th birthday this year, worrying about homework and high school drama. Instead, on what should have been her 15th birthday, September 7th, 2025, her shattered remains were rotting in a predator's abandoned car. This wasn't just another runaway statistic. Celeste was a bright student who sat in classrooms where teachers cherished her potential. Her former teacher would later reveal the heartbreaking timeline that haunts everyone who knew her. Celeste had met someone on social media, a charming rapper from LA who lured her away from safety.
I'm just remembering something. I mean, this is going to sound horrible. So we would walk by the hedges and I'm like, the hedges always smell like something decomposing.
She ran away from home. Police found her in Hollywood. They brought her back to school, back to her loving family. But the predator wasn't finished with her. In May 2024, Celeste vanished again. This time, it was permanent. The medical examiner's report was devastating. Severely decomposed, dismembered, wearing a tube top and black leggings, size small. A child's clothes on a child's body that had been brutalized beyond recognition. But there was one detail that would crack this case wide open. A tattoo on her right index finger that matched one on D4VD's hand. This wasn't coincidence. This was evidence of a twisted bond between a calculating predator and his defenseless victim. September 8, 2025, started like any other day at the Hollywood impound lot. Workers were processing abandoned vehicles when they noticed something that made their stomachs churn. A putrid, overwhelming stench coming from a black Tesla with Texas plates.
All of it?
I'm just remembering something. I mean, this is going to sound horrible. So we would walk by the hedges and I'm like, the hedges always smell like something decomposing. And there's a lot of rats around in here.
It was the same smell these residents and their dogs have been smelling for more than a week now.
And then they opened the trunk. And then they found human remains in an advanced state of decomposition. And then they realized this body had been rotting there for months, slowly decomposing in the California heat while the owner continued his life as if nothing had happened. The vehicle registration traced back to one name, David Anthony Burke. To the music world, he was D4VD, the 20-year-old sensation whose dark emotional tracks had captured millions of listeners worldwide. His song, Romantic Homicide, had made him a TikTok phenomenon and launched him into mainstream success. But now, investigators had to determine how a missing 15-year-old girl ended up dead and dismembered in this rising star's abandoned vehicle. Celeste had been reported missing in April 2024. The Tesla had been sitting abandoned for over 30 days before being impounded, which meant D4VD had been performing on stages, giving interviews, building his career, all while knowing exactly where Celeste's decomposing body was hidden. What police didn't know yet was that this discovery would unravel not just a murder case, but expose a predatory relationship that had been lurking in plain sight for years. As investigators dug deeper, they uncovered evidence that painted a disturbing picture of D4VD's relationship with Celeste. And much of it came from D4VD himself. In leaked Discord messages from D4VD's own server, the relationship was openly discussed. Messages showed Celeste was a member of his Discord, with users casually referencing their connection. One message from August 2024 read, "Drop the one with the missing girl, Celeste Rivas Hernandez." But that's not the shocking part. D4VD's own messages hinted at pregnancy. "Me and deleted user got a kid on the way." This wasn't speculation. This was D4VD potentially confirming that he had impregnated a child. But the self-incrimination escalated from there. In his own music, D4VD had been dropping clues for years. A 2023 track mentioned Celeste by name. "Oh Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest." Remember, in 2023, Celeste was only 12 or 13 years old. The matching tattoos weren't coincidence. They were evidence of a twisted bond between a grown man and a vulnerable child. Celeste had SH tattooed on her right index finger, matching D4VD's hand tattoo in the exact same location. And here's what makes this absolutely sickening. Former associates revealed that D4VD had known Celeste since she was 10 years old, meeting her through Fortnite gaming communities in 2021. One insider said, "Everyone in the team knew about her, and he would joke about it." A 10-year-old child. Let that sink in. What makes this case even more disturbing is how D4VD tried to cover his tracks, and how many people knew what was happening but failed to protect Celeste. Video evidence shows D4VD and Celeste together on live streams, with D4VD frantically trying to end broadcasts when things got too revealing. In one chilling clip, Celeste calls him out directly, leading to D4VD screaming, "Delete everything. Delete. Delete everything. Everything goes." While Celeste was crying for help on livestream, D4D was silencing her. Multiple sources revealed that D4VD was paying people to keep quiet about his relationship with Celeste. One person claimed, "He told me he gave someone money because he was with a minor and showed me a picture of it too." While Celeste's family was desperately searching for their missing daughter, D4D was bribing people to keep her location secret. Even more damning were D4VD's own social media posts that seemed to reference keeping Celeste from her family. Cryptic tweets appeared to allude to stopping someone from going back to their family, with messages about circumstances not allowing people to be in their ideal situations. While Celeste wanted to go home to her mother and sister, D4D was actively preventing her return. A jewelry store worker came forward after recognizing Celeste from news photos, remembering when she and D4VD came in together in April 2024. The worker described Celeste as very high and very obviously younger than him, noting something felt off about the situation. The timeline was becoming crystal clear. D4VD had been grooming Celeste since she was a child, had been paying people to keep quiet, and had been actively preventing her from returning to her family. But investigators were about to discover something that would shatter any remaining doubt about D4VD's guilt. On September 17, 2025, Los Angeles police executed a search warrant that would seal D4VD's fate. The target, a Hollywood Hills home where D4VD had been staying, the same neighborhood where his Tesla had been abandoned. Police arrived with evidence bags and left with a computer and other items that could hold the key to solving Celeste's murder. The computer seizure was particularly significant because D4VD had been incriminating himself online for years. But here's what makes the Tesla abandonment even more suspicious. D4VD reported the vehicle missing, but Tesla vehicles can be tracked by the company. As one investigator pointed out, you can call Tesla and get it tracked. That don't make sense. Think about this. You have a missing Tesla, one of the most trackable vehicles on Earth, and instead of calling Tesla to locate it, you report it to police as stolen? That's not forgetfulness. That's calculated deception. The car had been sitting abandoned for over 30 days before being impounded on September 8th. This means Celeste's body had been decomposing in that trunk since before D4VD started his tour in August 2025. He was performing for crowds, signing autographs, taking photos with fans, all while knowing exactly where Celeste was rotting. The medical examiner confirmed the body was severely decomposed and had been there for an extended period. The dismemberment suggested this wasn't an accident or overdose. This was violence. This was rage. This was murder. Yet D4VD continued his tour, continued his interviews, continued building his brand, all while a 15-year-old girl's body decomposed in his abandoned car. The music industry's response was swift and brutal. Within 24 hours of Celeste's identification, D4VD's carefully constructed career began crumbling. All remaining tour dates vanished from venue websites. His European tour, including highly anticipated shows in the UK and Norway, was cancelled without explanation. The deluxe version of his album Withered, scheduled for release, was postponed indefinitely. Brand partnerships evaporated overnight. Collaborations were terminated, merchandise was pulled, and streaming platforms began distancing themselves from his content. But perhaps most telling was D4VD's own behavior. He turned off comments across all social media platforms: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. For an artist whose career was built on fan engagement, this digital silence spoke volumes. He began frantically deleting reposts and content that now looked incriminating, including videos about violence and disturbing themes that took on sinister new meaning in light of Celeste's murder. Collaborators rushed to distance themselves. One artist stated, "I'm not even close friends with D4D. I made a song with him. I had dinner with him one time in a group setting."
The message was crystal clear. Nobody wanted to be associated with a child killer. Today, D4VD has not been arrested, though the search warrant execution suggests police have probable cause to believe evidence of crimes exists. The LAPD has been careful with their statements, but the evidence speaks for itself. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was 15 years old when she died. She should be starting her sophomore year of high school, worrying about homework and friends, planning for prom, dreaming about her future. Instead, she's dead, murdered and dismembered by someone she trusted. This case shatters our assumptions about the music industry's responsibility to protect young fans. How many other Celestes are out there, vulnerable to exploitation by those in positions of power? The investigation continues, but the evidence already revealed paints a clear picture. A grown man groomed a child, isolated her from her family, and when she became inconvenient or threatened to expose him, she ended up dead and dismembered in his car. Celeste deserved protection. She deserved justice. She deserved to live.